Welcome, my friend, to Next Level Change Success. I'm Therese, a change strategist and practitioner with over 20 years of experience designing and delivering impactful change programs across various industries. In this podcast, I share real-world practical strategies to help you create and deliver positive change experiences, whether you're a leader, practitioner, or someone looking to bring new ways of working to life. In today's fast-paced world, change is constant. Here we focus on how you can put people at the centre of your change strategy, because people with a sense of purpose are the most important link in driving performance. So if you're ready to create meaningful change and achieve all the success that comes with it, keep listening. Together, let's change the conversation and take it to the next level. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Next Level Change Success. My name is Therese, and I'm the founder of myvirtualchangemanager.com. I would like to pay my respects to the traditional owners and custodians on the land on which I am recording, and to elders both past, present, and emerging. So today, it's somewhat chilly in Sydney. It's winter and it's been freezing. So anyway, that's just a bit of a side note. I'm sure in the Northern Hemisphere it's beautiful and warm, and that's the world that is contrasting at the moment. But I want to talk today about the 3 signs about you not as good at delivering change as you thought you were. And this is all in relation to everyday change. And oftentimes I hear leaders, project managers, other people in organizations saying, I know how to change. I'm all for change. I know how to do it. And I think music to my ears, fantastic. And then as we start to unpack it, it seems that in fact the individuals may not be across the change discipline as much as they think they are or would like to be. A little bit of a parallel I like to draw is when I've been to a building course, it doesn't necessarily make me a builder, a qualified builder. Qualified builder versus going to a DIY course where I've learned how to use the basics of tools, put something together, hopefully do a bit of decking, hopefully make a day bed very soon. Does not a builder make me. And when people haven't really been through any change training and think, well, I know how to do communications, or I know how to lead my team, and think they know how to do change as such, well, maybe that's not really the case. And there's 3 signs I thought, when someone says this, what are they experiencing? That I know what they're thinking. They're thinking that they can absolutely roll out change, but what are they experiencing? And why is it important that people do understand the basics of change? And so the 3 signs that I thought of straight away, one was unhappy stakeholders and conflict that comes from that. And what I mean by that is you might be an expert in your area of expertise. So you might be a fantastic economist, you might be great at designing strategy for an organization, for example, or you might be really great at looking at solution architecture from a tech perspective, or you might be a fantastic retail store owner, or you might be a fantastic concierge, like all the different areas of expertise that there might be. But when you're looking to have someone else change the way that they're doing something so that there's a better outcome, you might be finding that those people who are impacted are unhappy with the way that you're approaching that change with them. And so while you think that you know how to roll out change, if you were rolling it out well, you would not have that much noise. So that's one thing. If you're finding that there's a lot of animosity towards you, there's a lot of blowback that's happening when you're trying to implement something new, then maybe you might want to explore some of the techniques used in the change arena, and certainly looking at developing your change awareness so that you can implement change far more effectively and without that noise. Because who needs it? right? Who needs all that noise when your intent might be fantastic? Your intent might be just simply to deliver better product, better solutions, better ways of working, and yet you're finding it just too hard. So that's one of the signs. The second is that you might be delivering really well. And so you might be achieving things, so delivering things, rolling things out, but they're not getting adopted. So you're delivering a solution and people are coming back and saying, this wasn't what I was asking for. There isn't a level of satisfaction with what you're delivering for those who use it, and it's not being adopted. So that definitely is something that can happen where people feel like they can roll out change and have been doing it for years. Sometimes you might be sitting there thinking it's all successful, but you can hear a bit of feedback around issues and you're finding that you're having to justify it. You're saying, no, but I spoke to that person in your team. They gave me the idea. They said it was okay for me to go ahead and do this. And then you're finding out afterwards that there's actually a lot of issues within that team and that person probably wasn't the best person to speak with. And that if you had have explored more broadly with the broader team and the leader about the requirement, you would have actually delivered something different. So definitely the engagement, the way you engage, the way you design the piece of work, the solution, and using different techniques from a change perspective may help in alleviating and ensuring that there is high adoption from the outset versus having to rework or iterate on something that should have been consulted on appropriately and designed and co-designed well so that you could actually achieve the outcomes for them as well as for yourself. The third one is about burnout. So if you're doing change well, you are not going to feel burnt out at the end of it. And this is a very controversial one, but the reason why I'm saying this is because change isn't just about the technique and the tools. It's not about having the hammer, having the nail, having the right wood there so that you can hammer it together, getting the right materials for the right project, etc., etc. It's actually about how you approach your workload, how you're approaching the engagement, and how you're ensuring that you're turning up every day to that work site in the best way possible, and knowing that on the days when you're feeling under the weather, that you're not trying to build the walls of the house as such, that you know how to temper your efforts in line with your physical and emotional state and mental state, and ensuring that if you're working on continuous improvement, working on a big change that you want to change with your team, with other teams, how you're having to influence, is that you don't get burnt out in that process. And I talk about this because I know it. I'm very familiar with it through my career of hitting that wall through effort and through drive and through over-ownership of a change. And you might find that for yourself as well, is that by owning too much, being too invested in the change, it's going to be exhausting. So understanding your energy management. So if you're finding that you're saying, I know how to roll out change, I've done it many times, I've introduced risk management, say, across business areas multiple times in multiple organizations, but at the end of each time, you are feeling exhausted, you're feeling tired, you're feeling worn out, overtired, overstressed, then absolutely you're not rolling out change the right way or the best way for you also to be able to have balance. And that's something obviously that we really look at my virtual change manager. So these are things, just have a think about them if they're showing up for you. If you have stood in the shoes of, I know how to roll out change, but you're feeling burnt out, whether you're having stakeholders who are really arcing up and unhappy, and that there's conflict when you're going and rolling out change. You shouldn't have conflict. You can have objection and you can have resistance, but you shouldn't have outright conflict. And then that the concept of delivery is what you you are defining as success versus adoption and satisfaction with what you're delivering through your stakeholders. If you had that as a measure, would you consider yourself successful in rolling out change if it was actually up to your stakeholders versus your own perception? So 3 things just to consider. If you are rolling out everyday change, I really do wholeheartedly say, come and consider some of the training that we offer, because it will build your skills in this area where you can understand the key levers for achieving great change adoption, where there isn't a trade-off at your expense. We talk about energy management in our change models. We talk about it especially in everyday change, because it is so important that if you are rolling out change, if you're leading change, if you're implementing change, that you're understanding how to navigate the pressures that come with that in a level, and have a level of change adaptability within yourself and centeredness within yourself to be able to sustain your efforts, and also then have repeatable change take place, but not at the expense of yourself. So come along to myvirtualchangemanager.com. Have a look at some of the free tools we have. Most certainly have a look at some of the courses that we are running, because this is such an important area at this time in organisations where everyone's being asked to do more with less, and there's so much change happening and big change happening because of the economic pressures, the drive for efficiency, but it shouldn't be at the expense of yourself, and nor should it be at the expense of your people. So we really want to lift this conversation and really empower as many people as possible through these times, so that you get the skills and the tools, so that you get the good quality tools, the practical tools to be able to build the house. You can understand the plan, but then you also know what the regime is for yourself, what the needs are for yourself to be able to build the house from end to end, and not get halfway through and exhaust yourself or injure yourself through that process. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope it might have sparked some thoughts around how you're approaching change. And as I said, come and visit us at myvirtualchangemanager.com. And I will just say a big thank you for listening, because we are fast approaching our 100th episode. It's coming up soon. And that just blows my mind that I've been doing this for so long. And I often get really great feedback. So if you can subscribe, that'd be fantastic. If you could rate, give us a rating, give us feedback, reach out. I would be more than happy to have a conversation about any topic that you would like in this change landscape, because I'm that passionate about it. And helping people to upskill is what I'm all about. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and thanks for listening.